Today we're going to talk about the backward ass way the government does business. Okay, so what we're here to talk about today is the backward ass way the government does business. You all know if you're in business, if you own a business, you're there to make a profit. Okay, shortly after I came back to work for the government, 2008, I was at the Corps of Engineers in New Orleans, and they quickly told me that they wasn't there to make a profit. They was just there to do a job, and it didn't matter how much it cost. So, you know, we wasn't supposed to watch the budget at all, because the way the government works is you have to spend all your money every year so that you can get more money next year. And then at the end of that year, you have to make sure you spend it all. And guess what, folks? It is September, which is the end of the fiscal year for the federal government. Guess what I got in the mail? Yes, sir. I got an envelope from the VA of Maryland. Okay? The VA of Maryland sent me an envelope, not a small envelope, a big envelope, from Houston, Texas. And they sent me a letter. And what a wonderful letter. Of course, it is black and white, which is good because they could have sent it color. But it depends on how much money they had left in their budget that they had to waste this money, because this was a waste of money. Total fraud, waste, and abuse, because there's much better ways to do this besides mailing it out to everybody who, I mean, it was just a waste of money. It's the end of the fiscal year. We all know that this guy, Dennis H. Smith, director of the VA Maryland healthcare system, who will probably never treat me again, by the way, had to spend this amount of money because it was in his budget, and if he don't spend it, he has to give it back, and then he won't get it next year. So it's just a circle of government. But he sent me this really nice calendar. Take pride in America. Salute to our veterans. Now, this is a really nice calendar. It's got some really good pictures in it, and it's got the days numbered for each one of the year. For each one of the months, it's got numbers by the dates, and they're in little squares and stuff. And so it's a really good calendar. It's really put together good, and it's got some pretty pictures in it. And then all the way in the back, look, an eagle. All the way in the back, there's, oh yeah, sparklers. Oh yeah, Lady Liberty. There's our flag. Look, the Liberty Bell. We the people. Oh, a candle. Yeah. And there's something else. A flag that says Old Glory. I don't quite get it, but there it is. Then there's some good information in the back, okay? Then on the back of the calendar that goes against the wall, the part that actually goes against the wall, like if you hang it up right here, you know, the part that is against the wall, and it's not like you could just turn it up and read it, because now it's upside down, okay? I ain't kidding at all. The calendar is there. You flip it up like this, it's upside down. So it's virtually useless information, hidden, but it says where all of the Maryland healthcare centers are for the VA. Now folks, they spent, I'm making up this number, $10 each. I'm making that up. I have no idea. Okay, I'm just saying, $10 each to mail out this, to produce this calendar and this letter in the envelope and to mail it out in the U.S. Postal Service. Okay, $10. Good round number. I don't know how much it was. It might have been 5. It might have been 1. I don't even know. But they mailed it out to 100,000 veterans, and I made that number up too. I don't know. Okay, but 100,000 veterans at $10 a piece would be $1 million they spent on calendars that they could have produced the calendars and kept them at the VA center and gave them to us as we came through, saved the postage and the letter. Or they could have just not produced it at all, and I would have been fine without a calendar. However, this guy had a budget. I mean, it was out of time. He had to spend it on something, because that's the way the government works. In a real business, if you have money left over at the end of the year, you either reinvest it in the company or you take it out and give it to the shareholders. Okay? Not in the government. In the government, if they have money left over at the end of the year, they have to spend it. They'll buy anything. I mean, they get new chairs, new $1,000 chairs for their cubicle offices. Okay? They get big, wide monitors. You know, they get, you know, they go out and buy, you know, lots of office supplies that they don't need, that they didn't buy during the year because they couldn't afford it. Okay? But they buy a lot of stuff in the last month of the fiscal year that they don't need. And buddy, that's exactly what they did with this. Okay? They mailed out, I don't know how many of these, I made up a number, but VA of Maryland, Dennis, what's his name there, Smith. Dennis H. Smith, Director of the VA Maryland Healthcare System, had some money left in his budget, and here it is in September, and he's mailing out 2012 calendars, or 2011 calendars, and spending the money out of his budget so he can get it in his budget next year, instead of just giving it back and putting it back in the general fund and wiping off a little bit of that red. It's a ridiculous system, people. A ridiculous system.